came to me and you were like, hey, I'm really struggling to stick to my health and fitness goals, one of the first questions I would ask you: over the years, I feel like I have mastered the art of balancing health and fitness with a busy schedule, travel, school, work, the holidays. So in today's vlog, I'm gonna be sharing all of my tips, but also the mindset shifts that help me to stay consistent even when life gets chaotic. First thing I wanted to talk about is a mindset shift. I used to always tell myself, things are crazy right now, but when things calm down, then I'll start my fitness journey. Let me tell you, it is never a good time to start. That is why one of my mantras, it's actually the banner of my YouTube channel, is today's a great day to change your life. Not tomorrow, not next week. One of the most important things for me is just committing to it. Let's not pretend that this just happens on accident without us realizing. It's gonna take effort and intention. When I take a few minutes to just say, okay, I'm staying on track this week, it really changes everything. And really, my opinion on this is don't half-ass it. If you need a break, if you need some time off, take a real break. But don't say you're gonna lock in and then set yourself up for failure and disappointment. As a self-diagnosed overplanner, I do believe this is the most important part, and I'll stand by that. Let's talk about making a plan. First, let's talk about workout plans. Whether you're gonna buy a program, get an app, write a program yourself, it doesn't matter, but having something right there ready to go is so important. I feel like when I'm looking for an excuse to not work out, one of my go-tos, one of my favorites is, I don't even know what I'm gonna do today. We're not doing that, okay? Get a plan going. Next, let's talk about nutrition and food planning. I like to do what I call a weekly menu plan. I'll sit down, I'll pick the meals I'm gonna have that week, and then I'll write my grocery list based on that. I used to make the mistake of wandering through the grocery store, picking up a bunch of random healthy foods, coming home, staring at my fridge, and being like, what am I going to make? That really just sets you up for failure, especially when you're already time poor. So last thing in the planning realm is habit tracking. I find it so helpful to set up your daily habits and have it somewhere easily accessible, whether that's a paper planner or a digital one. Don't carry around your to-do list in your brain every day. Get it down on paper. Like, do a brain dump. Feels really nice, and that way you don't have to be constantly thinking about it and worrying about whether you're gonna forget. This next one might sound a little bit odd, but it's something that I actually do, and it's actually very helpful. When you're setting goals, if you take a couple minutes to try and predict the obstacles you think you'll face and decide what you will do in those situations, it can significantly increase our likelihood of achieving our goals. There is some really interesting research on that. I think the reason this happens is because when we pre-decide what we're gonna do and we don't have to make that hard decision in the moment, I feel like it's a lot easier to make the right choices or the choices that align with our goals. Before we get into today's workout, let's chat a little bit about fitness. I would highly recommend focusing on building the habit and the consistency more than the intensity of your workout sessions. Don't talk yourself out of a workout because it's like only 5 or 10 minutes or whatever. I will speak for myself and say that I use perfectionism as an excuse to be lazy because I'm like, oh, well, I shouldn't even bother to do a workout if it can't be a really good workout, when really I'm just lazy and I don't want to do a workout, you know? For example, I committed to go on a walk every single day for the next 45 days as a part of my shred challenge leading up to the new year. And let me tell you, some of those walks have literally been 2 minutes long. It doesn't matter though, okay? The idea is we are building the neural circuits in our brain, and over time we can make the workouts more challenging. But even if we only work out for 5 minutes and that's still all we have time for or all we have energy for, that is so much better than nothing. This next topic is one of my favorite things to talk about: how to make your workouts more efficient but just as effective. And I did a major deep dive on this a couple years ago because I just didn't have hours and hours to spend at the gym every single week. So here are my tips. The first thing, don't switch equipment constantly. Just pick somewhere and stay there. So if you're gonna do dumbbells, I try to do my entire workout with dumbbells. If I'm gonna use the barbell, I'll stay there the whole time. I try not to wait around for machines or things that are full. If the leg press is being used, I'm not gonna stand in line waiting for it. I'm just gonna use a squat rack instead. I also won't wait for the right weight to use. So for example, if there aren't any 10s available, but there is a 15, I'll just use that and I'll do a little bit fewer reps. I like to focus on compound movements that cover multiple muscle groups rather than getting super specific with like a bodybuilder type workout like biceps and triceps. Instead, I like to do stuff like pull-ups, squats, deadlifts. I also like to reduce my rest time or even just humble myself by timing my rest. I swear, I'm like, oh, I'm only resting for 60 seconds and I actually time it and it's been like 2.5 minutes. I also love doing sprint workouts or HIIT workouts because you're able to get a really high energy output in a short amount of time. I also love working out at home because it saves me the drive to and from the gym. I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I have actually written an entire 8-week fitness program for this exact goal. I actually had the idea for it back when I worked my corporate job, and I tried so many different fitness programs, and I felt like they were all so unrealistic for people who worked full-time and who were actually busy. The workouts are based on all of the principles that we just discussed, and I spent a full year fine-tuning, adjusting every single session. So the program is actually on a 20% off sale right now. This is the last week you can get it at a discount using the code reignite20. And the lower body lift I'm going to be doing today is actually from week 7 of the program. After my workout, we will be chatting all things nutrition, lifestyle, habits, mindsets. I'm so excited, but first we need to get this workout done. So workout of the day is done. Let's get into the nutrition side of things. I've called this different things in different videos, but today we'll call it anchor meals. Basically, it is meals or snacks that help me reach my nutrition goals that I can kind of fall back on. For me, this is gonna be Greek yogurt bowls and protein smoothies. They're low calorie, high protein. They're easy to make, and I just always keep the ingredients I need on hand. Odds are there's gonna be meals that you can't control. Like maybe you're going out to dinner with friends, you're on vacation, you're eating at the hotel buffet, or maybe you just have to eat whatever is on hand at work that night. I used to really stress about that kind of stuff, but honestly, I've learned it's not that big of a deal if you're able to set yourself up for success by, for example, having one of your anchor meals for breakfast that day. I find it just really helps balance things out so that you can still be hitting your goals, even if you're going off plan for a meal here or there. A recent example of this from my life, I spent the week with my boyfriend's family last week for Thanksgiving. The way I kind of set up my nutrition is that I was really locked in for the first half of the day. So my protein iced latte I have every single day. I literally brought my protein milk with me and my whole coffee setup to make it while I was there. And then I had a Greek yogurt bowl every day for breakfast. And then by dinner time, the second half of the day, I just had kind of whatever I wanted. So for me, Thanksgiving food and leftovers is just all carbs. I'm a vegetarian, so it's like mashed potatoes, bread, and vegetables. So that's what I basically had for dinner every night. And I had 2 slices of pie every single night that we were there. And I came home and weighed myself, and I did not gain any weight. And I think a huge part of that was that I was able to strike this balance by having my healthy meals for the first half of the day, but also I didn't want to be so strict that I couldn't hang out and eat Thanksgiving food. Like, I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy, you know? The devastating news for today's smoothie recipe is that my bananas are not frozen and they're not ripe. So I'm gonna have to make a smoothie without a frozen banana, which is honestly illegal in this house. I don't even know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna have to get creative. Okay, here's what we're working with. So I have 100 grams of the ultra filtered whole protein milk, 10 grams of protein oats. I'm hoping it'll just make it a little bit thicker and creamier like the banana would, a scoop of vanilla whey protein, a teaspoon or 5 grams of chia seeds for some extra fiber. I did 100 grams of Greek yogurt and about 8 grams of almond butter on the sides of the glass because I felt like it was gonna be a little bit watery and I wanted to add some more fat. I will put the calories and macros on the screen in case you are interested. Oh, I almost forgot, I also did 50 grams of blueberries. It's fine. It's not changing my life, but I'm gonna drink it. The almond butter definitely helps, but I still miss the banana. My next tip is to meal prep and meal repeat. I just try to make things as easy as possible on myself by having healthy meals and snacks easily accessible, ready to go. I personally prefer to ingredient prep rather than meal prep, so I will like chop all my veggies, get my carb like cooked and ready to go, and then I will assemble and warm everything up or cook everything the night of because I just feel like it tastes a little bit fresher. But there have been times in the past where I've had to do full meal prep and just reheat my meals. That works too, and it does save so much time. When I worked corporate, I remember I would make a week's worth of my Greek yogurt chia pudding cups and I would bring those to work with me every single day. I remember my boss was like, "What is that? That looks really gross." And I was like, do you know what? That's kind of valid, honestly. I feel like we see a lot of food content on social media and it can set a kind of unrealistic expectation that people are eating a different meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner every single day. I just want to let you know I am definitely not doing that. I am a meal repeater and I feel like when you find something that works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I personally will mix up my flavors toppings, sauces, but keep the base meal the same or pretty similar. Now, sometimes I will beat a meal to death and I will be like, I need to take a break from it because I've had this so many times. I went through a Ninja Creami phase where I was having a protein ice cream every single night for probably 6 months straight. And I was like, okay, I need to take a little bit of a breather, which is fine. But I'm actually back on my Ninja Creamis now, by the way, in case anyone was wondering. Speaking of, I wanted to show you how I prep my Ninja Creami ice creams. Hi, you've actually just time traveled, so that's crazy. I meant to film my meal prep clips right after I finished filming my previous clip, but my camera died and then I forgot. I took an everything shower. I got into my sweatpants. It's 4:15. Tell me why the sun is literally almost down. It's not good. Okay. I am almost out of milk, so I'm just gonna prep one, but usually I would do like 3 or 4. Because is it really meal prep if you're just making one? I would say no. I don't know. I'm not gonna die on that hill. Here is the Ninja Creami recipe. This is the only Ninja Creami ice cream recipe, okay? This is it. 2 servings, 400 grams of ultra filtered whole protein milk. Do not come out here with skim milk, please, please. Oh, that's 420. That's fine. 2 scoops of whey protein powder. Jello pudding mix is optional, but it makes it a lot thicker and creamier. That was 17 grams. Now, I can't really tell you if that's the right amount. I don't really get specific with the measurements. It's gonna be fine. My mixer could really use a new set of batteries, but we're just gonna ignore that. And then this needs to be frozen overnight, lid off. If you put the lid on, it creates some suction and there will be like a bump in the middle, which is not good for your machine. Supposedly. So if you came to me and you were like, hey, I'm really struggling to stick to my health and fitness goals. No matter what I do, I just cannot stay consistent. One of the first questions I would ask you, are you getting enough sleep and are you drinking enough water? Which may sound really silly, but those 2 things alone can seriously impact our focus levels, our willpower, our discipline. It's fun to make a nutrition plan and a fitness plan and a grocery list and all that stuff, but if we're not getting enough sleep and drinking enough water, we're not going to be in a great spot. The last thing I wanted to chat about before I let you go is a mindset shift that has been so transformative for me. And I have truly learned this lesson the hard way. No matter how hard you try, no matter how good your intentions are, you will fall off track at some point. But falling off track isn't actually the problem here. The problem is when one meal off track turns into 2 weeks of meals off track, or when you miss one workout and that turns into months of missed workouts. I really love the piece of advice, don't miss 2 days in a row. Take a break if you need it, but do it with the intention of getting back into things as soon as you can. There have been so many times in my life where I have put myself last to everything else going on. It's easy for me to prioritize work or school or even other people in my life, like my friends, my family. If they need anything, I will drop everything. And I find it so hard to bring that same energy when it comes to myself, my own priorities, my own commitments. But that is the energy that I want to bring for myself in 2026. When I commit to something, I'm committed. When I need a break, I take a real break. I don't push myself until I burn out and then I'm forced to take some time off and feel guilty about it. That's not fun. That's not productive. I would much rather take an intentional break and the rest of the time stay committed. But yeah, I just really feel like it's important to take advantage of those small moments and those small tweaks and shifts you can make, because when things are really chaotic and busy, it can feel like you are always in last place and that everything else in your life is essential except for prioritizing your own health, your own fitness, your own goals. So I guess this is my invitation and reminder for you that even if you only have 2 minutes, 5 minutes to put towards yourself, that is still important. It can still make a difference in your health, fitness, how you feel. It's worth doing. For those of you who are doing the 45-day challenge with me, I wanted to give a quick update on how things are going. Things are going very well. I'm feeling amazing. I feel like I'm actually starting to integrate some of these habits. It's starting to feel a lot more normal in my routine, which is so exciting. I've been so consistent with my supplements. My sleep schedule has improved so much. I'm really happy with my results so far. I feel like I'm finally seeing a breakthrough on my fat loss results just based on my tracking methods, but also my physique, how I'm looking. I do want to say I haven't been perfect at any of my habits. I've missed a few here or there, but for me, it was never about being perfect or really strict. One thing I hate about 75 hard, to be honest, there are a lot of issues I have with 75 hard in general, but this idea that if you miss one habit one time, you have to start over, I think is so dumb, honestly. I already knew on the science side of things that this was true, but I feel like in my own experience, I'm also proving to myself you don't need to be perfect every single day to build those habits. If you miss a day here or there, it's not like the neural circuits in our brain just disappear. Anyway though, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. I hope it gave you some inspiration for small tweaks, mindset shifts you can make, ways you can prioritize your health and fitness and your routine, even if you're busy. If you're also doing the 45-day challenge with me, leave a comment down below. Let me know how it's going. I would love to stay updated. If you'd like to see more from me, make sure to subscribe. I upload new videos every week, and I will see you next time.